Welcome back, everyone. I want to talk about something today that could be controversial, so we're going to be careful. But here is the question. I hear it frequently in comments that REI is just too expensive, and that's why people don't shop there. And so I wanted to look. Is REI really more expensive? Let's go. Okay, so here's what we're talking about. In my head, someone is looking at two products, one in one location and one in another location, and they're saying REI's prices on the shelf are more expensive than really everyone else's. And I'm not sure that that's actually true. And so what I decided I wanted to do was compare REI's prices, but I then figured I would get in trouble because people will be like, well, you didn't compare to the right places. So what I did was I did a poll on the community section here on YouTube. I occasionally reach out to viewers there for information, and I asked, where do you shop online? And so I tabulated all that information, and then that was who I compared with. I ended up comparing REI to 7 other retailers, both big places and little places. And the only one that I couldn't really use was NRS. Obviously, a lot of my viewers are paddlers. A lot of them shop at NRS, so that fell into the sort of the matrix of what people said. But NRS only carried one of the products that I compared. So I've got NRS, but it really only has one. The companies that I compared to are in no particular order. These are where people that watch my channel shop. Amazon, Backcountry.com, Outdoor Play, NRS, Cabela's, Kayak Academy, and Moosejaw.com. So that's who I compared to. Okay, so what prompted me to dive into this project, which is really what this became, as a project with spreadsheets and comparisons, and it's been crazy. It was 2 things. The first was comments that I've gotten on this channel, and I want to share a few of them with you. I remember walking into an REI and thinking, wow, great selection and okay prices. That was a long time ago. That is implying that they're looking at the prices then versus the prices now, and the prices are not good. I will say that the price of gear across the board has gone up, but you wouldn't walk out of an REI just because everything is so expensive, unless in your head you were thinking it's more expensive, I can get this cheaper someplace else. For the average Joe, most brands at REI are out of reach. Okay, saying again, too expensive at REI for the average person. True outdoor enthusiasts can get around buying the overpriced REI everything, a few exceptions aside. Besides the fact that REI everything and a few exceptions, if it was everything, there wouldn't be exceptions. We'll ignore that. But saying everything at REI is overpriced. I debated showing this one. A little rude, a little graphic, but I felt it was important. REI equals rear end insertion. That's what it feels like paying those prices for the normie gear they carry nowadays. They carry the same gear as just about everyone else, and unless you're going to a boutique vendor that's doing like super specialized stuff, tarp tents, things like that, they're carrying what everyone else is carrying. The question remains whether or not it's more expensive. Okay, next. REI has changed over the years. I can buy the exact same products at another store for cheaper than REI sells for. No need to wait for a year for a rebate to show up. We're going to compare the exact same products, and we're not including the rebate. Finally, REI will kill itself with price. When I started in 2018, I bought most all my paddle gear from them. I can't afford them now. Even their sale prices are out of reach. We're going to compare full prices. I don't see the point. They both had next to nothing in them. Mostly closed, look like dicks. I will give you paddle selection at REI stores are not great. Let's move on. Part of it was viewer comments. The other part of this was that I was watching another channel, a gear-specific channel, and they were talking about prices and said, without any sort of proof or illustrations, REI is just more expensive. And I was like, is it really? So I wanted to find out. That's what prompted me to do this. Here are the ground rules. I'm comparing full-priced items. Sale prices will be all over the place. I should say the prices you're about to see for stuff was from July. It's taken me that long to sort of tabulate all the information and pull this together and shoot the video, not including REI member dividends or refunds. And there has to be, in order for it to count as this company is cheaper than REI, it has to be more than $4.99. It has to be $5 or more. Because in my opinion, if I'm like set up to shop someplace and they've got all my information and they got my credit card already, and I see something for $4 on another website, I'm not switching over there and giving them all my information for $4. It's not worth my time. So that's sort of the ground rules that I'm going by. I chose products in as many categories as I could think of, including some paddle stuff, but really just some regular outdoor stuff. So I did tent, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, headlamps, electronics, things like that, and compared to 7 other companies. And these were the companies that I polled my viewers as to where they shop, right? So let's start with the first one, which is a tent. I compared the Big Agnes Copper Spur HV UL2 at full price. REI's price, $529.95. Amazon's price, $529.95. Backcountry, $529.95. Outdoor Play, $529.95. NRS doesn't carry it. Cabela's had it at $549.99. Kayak Academy and Moose Jaw didn't carry it. Moose Jaw only carried the long version. So Cabela's was $20 more expensive. Everyone else was the same price. I am sure that you can find tents that have some variation in price, but I picked this because I think it's a great tent, and it's an expensive tent, and you would shop that around. And so in that one, straight across the board, no differences. Next, I went with a backpack. Again, a very popular and expensive backpack. The Osprey Atlas AG50. REI's price was $315. Backcountry's price, $314.95. I don't count that as cheaper. Only one other company carried it at the time that I did this. NRS didn't, Cabela's didn't, Kayak Academy doesn't. Moose Jaw had it at $315. Amazon had it at $295. So in that case, you could get this pack cheaper from Amazon by about $20. So there is one instance where the item is cheaper someplace else. And we'll talk about Amazon a little bit later. Next, electronics. Garmin Fenix 7 Pro Solar. Now there's 8 million versions of the Garmin Fenix. I chose this one because it was in the middle of the price range, actually closer to the bottom of the price range. So Fenix 7 Pro Solar. REI has it for $800. Backcountry.com has it for $799.99. Cabela's $799.99. Moose Jaw only had the 7X. NRS doesn't carry it. Kayak Academy doesn't carry it. Amazon had it for $795. So it is $5 exactly cheaper. Would I go to Amazon from REI to buy it for $5 cheaper? I don't think I would, but I'll count that as cheaper by $5 for Amazon. Okay, next, sleeping pads. There are 8 million sleeping pads that you could choose from. I chose the Thermarest Neo Air X Therm NXT in the large size. Super popular pad. The large size is a bit more expensive. REI's price on that was $269.95. Backcountry's price was $269.95. Outdoor Plays was $269.95. No one else carried it. Amazon carried it at $239.95. So again, we're seeing the trend here that Amazon is undercutting prices, but all of the other outdoor retailers are coming in at the same price. As I said, we'll come back to Amazon. Next, a chair, the Helinox Chair Zero. REI, $149.95. Amazon, $149.95. Backcountry, $149.95. Moose Jaw, $149.95. None of the other retailers carried that chair. Across the board, everyone's got the same price. Petzl Tika, one of the most popular headlamps. I chose the Tika because it is so popular. Even though I'm a Black Diamond headlamp guy, I chose the Tika. Petzl Tika, $34.95. Across the board, everyone, $34.95. Cabela's had it at $34.99. Arguably, they're more expensive, but I'm not quibbling over 4 pennies. I then wanted to do the Goal Zero Crush lantern. A funny thing about the Crush, it's that collapsible lantern that is very similar to the Sea to Summit collapsible bowls. And the lantern is waterproof. A buddy of mine at an REI event years ago confirmed with the Goal Zero rep that because it is collapsible, the same material as those bowls, could you use it as a bowl? And the rep was like, yeah, I don't see why not. It's waterproof. So you could turn it on. It would light up your soup or your cereal. And yeah, you could be a freak. In any case, a funny thing about the Goal Zero Crush lantern. Only 3 companies had that one. REI, Cabela's, Moose Jaw, $19.99 for all of them. Next, a piece of footwear, a very popular hiking shoe. I'm looking for one of these to use in a video. I need a used one because I think I'm going to cut it up. Incredibly popular. Merrell Moab 3, waterproof. REI's price, $140. Amazon, Backcountry, have it at $139.95. Cabela's and Moose Jaw have it at $139.99. The other retailers didn't have it available. Okay, next, a jacket. Again, very popular. I wanted to keep these things that were super popular. Marmot Eco Pro Precip. So this is the Marmot Precip jacket in the Eco Pro variant. $150 is the price at REI. $150 even is the price at Amazon. $159.95 is the price at Backcountry. That counts as they're more expensive. It's over $5. Outdoor Play, NRS, Cabela's didn't have it. Moose Jaw, $160, $10 more. That counts as more expensive. Next is a pair of hiking socks, Darn Tough Hiker Micro Crew. $25 at REI, $23.95 at Amazon and Backcountry and Moose Jaw. So those 3 companies come in $2.05 less than REI. That doesn't count in my book for $2. You could make the argument it's such a low price to start with. Maybe you would switch for the $2. I wouldn't, but you might. In any case, it's within the range, but still. Cabela's has it at $24.99. Garmin InReach Mini, REI's price, $400. Backcountry's price, $399.99. Cabela's price, $399 even. Moose Jaw's price, $399.99. Garmin InReach Mini at Amazon, $347. Again, that's a big price savings. I would go to Amazon to buy that for $50, $53 less. But again, we're going to talk about Amazon. Okay, I realized at this point that I had not done a stove, and I wanted to have sort of all of the big categories covered. So I picked a super popular stove. I actually did this one about 2 or 3 weeks after I did all the others. That shouldn't affect anything, but just for clarity. MSR Pocket Rocket 2, very popular canister stove. REI's price, $49.95. Amazon's price, $49.95. Outdoor Play's price, $49.95. Moose Jaw's price, $49.99. NRS Cabela's Kayak Academy didn't have it. $59.95. $10 more expensive than everyone else. Okay, this now gets a little bit confusing. I want to get into paddle sports. The problem is that there was not a lot of overlap, particularly in boats. But let's start with paddles. Werner Kamano fiberglass, not the carbon version, the fiberglass version, a more popular paddle. $335 across the board from everyone, including Amazon. The Astral YTV 2.0, $150 across the board from everyone who had it. Outdoor Play had it at $149.95, but same price across the board. Okay, then I wanted to get into boats. I wanted to do my Delta. This was problematic because I couldn't find a lot of people to compare the prices to. And so then I started comparing similar boats, like if you're shopping around and you can't find it, what else would you look at? So REI's price on the Delta 17 is $25.75. I found Rutabaga Paddle Sports had it for $25.75. So I could only find those two, Rutabaga and REI, that had a price on the 17, and it was the same. Then I wanted to start comparing the Eddy Line Sitka, again, a super popular boat. REI's price, $25.99, very similar to the Delta 17. Mountain to Sound Outfitters, $25.99. So similar pricing there. Mountains to Sound is a local company, and really that's sort of what I wanted to see. I then was like, I got to compare to one other boat to really see. That's not enough data. So I pulled up the Wilderness Systems Tarpon 120, again, super popular sit-on-top boat. REI's price, $12.99. LL Bean's price, $12.29, so $70 less. Omni Outdoors, $12.29. $70 less. Omni Outdoors, again, little tiny company. Okay, so here's what we found. Amazon 3 times beat REI on price. 3 times other outdoor retailers were more expensive. There were no times that other outdoor retailers were less expensive except for kayaks. If I were buying a kayak, I would definitely shop around. You could make the argument that your member dividend or refund will be more than the $70, but we're comparing without the refund, I said. So in that sense, at least on that one boat, I would continue to shop around. If I were buying a boat, I would shop around anyway, but clearly there, 2 outdoor retailers beat REI on price on the Wilderness Systems boat. That's worth mentioning. Okay, what does all this mean? Okay. So what's all this mean? The first thing it means that while REI was more expensive 3 times, 3 times other retailers were more expensive than REI. And I think that that's normal fluctuation stuff on prices. I'll explain something in a minute which makes it harder for me to understand how that happens, but we'll get there in just a second. But I would say right there, you're just as likely to get higher prices from another vendor as you are from REI. Okay, Amazon's prices were lower 3 times as well than REI and other places. This can be happening a number of ways. The first part of this is when you buy from Amazon, you generally don't know until you have made your purchase whether it's coming from Amazon or whether it's coming from a third party selling through Amazon. And I think that what's going on is that those lower prices are third parties that are undercutting prices on purpose. I don't know where they're getting their product from. I don't want to cast aspersions. I have no idea, but something funny is going on there. And that'll make sense as I explain this. When I started this process, I was pretty sure that REI's prices were not higher than other companies because I know that REI doesn't actually control its prices. Most of the time, when you're dealing with a big outdoor retailer, the prices that they're offering are authorized by the manufacturer. So they'll say, this has got what the price has to be for this item. You can put it on sale at these times of the year and at this price, or within this range of prices. And it's not just REI that has to deal with that. I checked with a friend who runs an independent shop, and he was like, oh yeah, we have those same issues. The manufacturer determines what our price ranges have to be and when we can put them on sale. He added, honestly, we can generally only put things on sale when REI is putting them on sale because REI is so big. I guess they dictate that sort of stuff. Which brings me back to Amazon. I'm not quite sure how they're getting away with lowering those prices. I suspect that it's third parties who are breaking rules. That doesn't mean you shouldn't buy it. Do what works for you, right? And then I'll add the caveat is I wanted to really compare to little tiny independent shops. The problem with that is I can't get prices from them because they don't post them on their websites. I also learned researching this that by not listing their prices online, independent shops can get around the price limitations that they're given because short of someone from the manufacturer walking into their store and seeing the prices, if they're not on the web, there's no way for them to know. So I'm sure someone will say, oh yeah, but if I walk into my local, mom and pop shop, I can get it cheaper. The information that I found was saying that that wasn't true. If that's your experience, great. But that's not what I saw in the few times that I could get prices. On the MSR Pocket Rocket, I did find it cheaper from one place, just sort of searching the web. And then when I went to purchase it, it wouldn't let me put it in the cart. So I think that it was just like a lure to get me to their website, but then wouldn't allow me to actually buy it at that lower price. So that's why we see like tremendously similar prices across the board. And it's kind of annoying because particularly for those small companies, their prices are dictated by, you know, the manufacturer and when REI is selling things. I will also say sort of another indicator of that manufacturer control of pricing. When I worked for REI and they had a 20% off coupon, there were always exclusions, like it doesn't work on these sunglasses, it doesn't work on these radios, right? There would be a long list of exclusions of things that REI employees had to know that the coupon couldn't be used on. And that's dictated by the manufacturer. They would not allow REI or anyone else to take 20% off on that product. If you don't want to shop at REI, that's fine. Don't shop, don't give them your money. You don't have to. But their prices, at least what I've seen, are not really higher across the board than other companies. Okay, that's all I've got for now. Do me a favor if you like this, if you enjoyed this. This was a lot of work. I got to tell you, I started working in the outdoors because I didn't want to deal with spreadsheets, and here I am dealing with spreadsheets. Do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe. You can buy me a coffee for my hard work on coffee. Otherwise, I'll see you outside.
No, because two boats go around 2 times.